Candace Owens was just fired from the Daily Wire after her critical coverage of Israel's genocide. I can't stress enough that Candace Owens was far from a radical on the Palestinian issue. At no point has Candace Owens ever affirmed Palestinians' right to self-defense against Israel. Also, at no point has Candace Owens ever labeled Israel as a terrorist state that doesn't deserve to exist, because they don't. Candace Owens has taken the most moderate, tepid position on this genocide possible. She simply said that she weeps for dead Palestinian children the same way she weeps for any dead children, and she don't believe that American taxpayers should be funding such mass death. This is the very rational position that got her canceled by Zionists. Candace Owens has spent years fear-mongering over cancel culture on the left, only to be canceled by her friends on the right.
Guys, welcome to the Cancel Corner, the place where we keep track of all the things the left has killed unnecessarily. I'm so excited. Over the years, it feels like the woke nonsense has deleted so many things from our lives. Nobody was upset about it until everybody was upset about it. So we've got Aunt Jemima, Goya Beans, Mr. Potato Head, so many more innocent, inanimate objects that the left has said goodbye. And recently, obviously in the midst of this Cardi B feud, the left even tried to cancel me, Candace. It's just so sad. But of course, here at the Daily Wire, we had plans on that. I had already said, if we're going to cancel Candace, we have to be the ones to lead the army. We're in on the joke, people. Cancel Candace.
I hope it's clear who the true traitors to this country are now, Candace. I hope this serves as a giant wake-up call to Americans. There is no bigger threat to the right of free speech and financial security of Americans than Israel and the ideology of Zionism. There was just a horrific terrorist attack in Russia where we have dozens dead and hundreds injured. Apparently, we had men dressed in camouflage that launched an attack on a concert with over 6,000 tickets sold, and after the initial attack, there was a fire outbreak as well. It's very curious that a U.S. embassy warned of an imminent terrorist attack just earlier, and now it happened. Despite this warning, you had the Biden administration who rushed out and said they didn't know anything about a terrorist attack and immediately absolved Ukraine of any guilt.
Do you have any sense whether this could be linked at all to the conflict in Ukraine?
There is no indication at this time that Ukraine or Ukrainians were involved in the shooting. But again, this just broke. We're taking a look at it, but I would disabuse you at this early hour of any connection to Ukraine.
It's still very early, and we don't know who did it yet. But let's put our thinking caps on for a second. The first question that we should ask ourselves is who has the motives to launch a terrorist attack into Russia? Second question, who has a history of launching terrorist attacks on the Russians? There was this pipeline called Nord Stream, for example. Who has a history of completely disregarding international law and the sovereignty of other countries? It's just extremely strange that John Kirby and the Biden administration was extremely fast to absolve Ukraine of being responsible for this terrorist attack when Ukraine made it very clear that they are down with launching attacks into Russia. This terrorist attack is horrific. Even though we don't know who did it, the West wants never-ending conflict with Russia, and an attack like this is exactly how you accomplish that. What's poppin', my friends? My family, welcome to Nick at Noon on Saturday. So much to discuss. So much happened yesterday. I had to make two hot spots for you guys. Not one, but two. Obviously, the first story more lighthearted. Yeah, Candace Owens, who spent years fear-mongering over cancel culture on the left, as the real cancel culture was the capitalist class, as I always said. As the right fear-monger over cancel culture on the left, you had Ron DeSantis, their boy, who signed anti-BDS laws. Candace Owens is going to be okay. That's why I saw a few people when I was making fun of her. Guys, I had bangers on X, my friends. I had bangers on X. I was invited to some right-wing space to talk about Candace Owens. It was a very big letdown because I was ready to fight about Israel. and then I learned that all these motherfuckers in this space agree with me. It was so weird. I don't get Twitter Spaces, man. I was like, man, I want to fight, bro. One of these right wing dudes hit me up, and they're like, hey, you want to talk about Candace Owens in Israel? I was like, bet. I was like, bet. And there was a space I did yesterday. This guy Mario, and I'm sorry to be mean, but the space was kind of trash. It was really boring, bro. I'm gonna be 100% honest, because like we were talking about Candace Owens for 90 minutes. And we was all just agreeing with each other. I'm like, man, I thought you guys invited me on to fight about Israel. I started out hot when I first got on the mic. I was like, I don't believe Israel had the right to exist. I told you guys that cancel culture is prevalent on the right. Ron DeSantis signed BDS. And, guys, this space had all these right-wingers in it. This space I was doing yesterday. They was all like, hey, man, we're not trying to discuss that right now. Let's kind of just focus on Candace Owens. I was like, fuck, man, this is weak, man. I was ready to fight. Spaces got a bad reputation because people often get invited on spaces just to get jumped. People don't do that to me anymore. That happened to me a few times. I destroyed these motherfuckers. And people get upset when that happened. I wanted to get jumped. I wanted these motherfuckers to come after me. Apparently, this guy, he has 1.3 million followers. He's a big friend of Elon Musk or whatever. And his platform says the host of the largest show on X. All right, bro, calm down. Calm down, bro. His tweets is fucking everywhere. I was on the show yesterday talking about the Candace Owens thing, and it was really a boring conversation. I'm sorry. It wasn't substance. I was trying to bring up free speech. They're like, hey, man, we don't want to talk about BDS and all that stuff. Like, bro, I thought we were talking about free speech. And then you're like, okay, sorry, man, we got to keep on. Let's focus on the Daily Wire. I'm like, what are we going to do? In this space, it was full of people lining up and saying, I disagree with Ben Shapiro on the Daily Wire. I don't think Israel should override our free speech. All right, next speaker, I disagree with Daily Wire and Candace Owens and firing Candace Owens. Next speaker, I disagree. Like 90 minutes of this. I'm like, bro, can we fight about something? Are we all just going to agree about 60 to 90 minutes? That's why I don't do spaces like that. I hit him up like, bro, if you guys ever want to do debates, talk about geopolitics, have a fight, you guys know where to find me. I told you guys, I've been itching for a debate. I was hyped yesterday. Thinking like, man, I'm all going to quote-unquote largest show on X and debate these right-wingers. It was very kind of disappointing. But I do appreciate, I don't want to drag them completely. I do appreciate the invite. I may be invited on again. Probably not after this unplanned segment. But we were talking about the Candace Owens thing. And that's something I always want to emphasize. This is who I said this on Glenn Greenwald's show about 2 years ago. Maybe a year and a half ago. Maybe I'm overestimating how long ago it was. On Glenn's show, I explained how the biggest threat to the free speech rights of Americans come from Israel. I brought up BDS. Every time I do an appearance, and I don't remember exactly, but I'm sure I did. Maybe I did. I think I said the same thing on Jimmy Dore's show too. But I know I did when I was talking to Glenn Greenwald. When I brought up, like, man, I appreciate that a lot of people on the right is talking about free speech, but they have a weakness on this issue. They are weak on the position of Israel. They are weak on the position of Israel. Look at BDS laws. Look at how they retaliate against people in their jobs. Because Candace Owens is going to be okay. She's about to build her own media platform. Like, she's about to blow the fuck up after this, my friends. She even been trying to do a week in the nod back at the black community. We're like, nah. A lot of people fuck with her now, but I'm like, nah. It's cool that you speaking out against genocide, but why can't you feel the pain that's going on in our community? Don't get us started on Candace Owens' past. We dragged her so many times. Black Twitter dragged Candace Owens all the damn time, but she has made a face turn. I do acknowledge that. Like, I do acknowledge what a face turn is. You guys know I'm a big pro wrestling guy. I'm a big martial art and pro wrestling fan. I love anything combat sports, right? So I know a face turn. I don't like Candace Owens. I never will. She obviously a grifter, but she's doing this face turn thing where she's like, man, all these white people kicking me out, so I might as well go back and try to be more authentic. Because remember, Candace Owens is the person who's been arguing that institutional racism isn't real, even though she sued her college for institutional discrimination against her and won a lawsuit in which she teamed up with the NAACP with. So she herself was a victim of institutional racism, but she made a career telling white people what they want to hear. That is what real grifters do. Diddy was there. I was talking to Diddy like, man, I wanted to fight my friends. I wanted to fight. And it was all just, man, I agree with your point. I agree with your point. Hey, man, I agree. Hey, man, great point over there, too. I'm like, bro, do we disagree on anything? I was misled. I thought it was going to be like, because he marketed his space as like, no echo chambers and that kind of stuff, right? So I'm sorry. I'm not trying to diss this guy. I do appreciate being invited, but man, that shit was disappointing. I'm not gonna lie. But let's get to the Russia story because I covered Candace in my hotspot. It's a funny story to me because people are like, isn't it chilling that you can get fired? Like, this has been happening. I have been talking about this. You guys know how many like teachers, librarians, and other public officials have been fired based on their sympathy shown to the Palestinian people? Israel is a story that I have covered. Unlike many people in the media, I have covered Israel since the start of our being at least once a week. At least, I would say at least once a show, but let's keep it conservative. At least once a week, I covered Israel before October 7th. I covered it during the Shireen Abdul-Akleh when she was assassinated by Israel in modern Palestinian history. I use that qualifier just to be safe. But it was one of the most deadliest years in modern Palestinian history. And that's why when October 7th happened, everyone was shocked. And I was like, man, it was only a matter of time that anyone with any decency would fight back against this unhinged genocidal regime. And once again, Diddy was one of the few people that was in the space. I went hot. I was like, bro, I don't acknowledge Israel as a state. I think they're a terrorist state. I think Hamas have every right to defend themselves. I went hot. They were like, whoa. We don't want to do that today. Damn, maybe next time. Big shout out to Mario though for inviting me. Hope they're not watching. Zoya, you still joining? Zoya's love, Zoya's life. I want to get Zoya in here because there's this big terrorist attack in Russia. And this is still a very early breaking story. Oh man, let me send you another invite. I don't see you, Zoya. Let me send you another invite. I wonder, like, what the hell Zoya is that? Give me just 1 minute, guys. Well, we're gonna start with the Russia and Moscow terrorist attack story. And Zoya is the RBN. Try this link. Maybe did I send you the wrong link or something? I don't see you. Zoya is our Russia expert. She was born in USSR in Odessa. And she's one of the reasons why we've been able to expose the NATO left EU bullshit proxy war. Why is she having a hard time joining this? I send it on Twitter, Zoya. Because I definitely have to get. I know Zoya been researching this all day. Send on Twitter. I didn't send the wrong. I might have sent the wrong link. But let's start here as we wait for Zoya. Hopefully we can get Zoya in here. I really do need. I really want to have Zoya here. Zoya is an expert on Russia. Like she grew up there. She was born in the USSR. Ask Zoya about the difference between the education in the Soviet Union versus in the United States. It's literally a joke. We had many conversations before on that. Man, I really hope I can get her in. I don't know what the hell's going on. But you had the United States that I find weird that immediately went to absolve Ukraine after this. Now you had ISIS taking responsibility. Okay, bro. You know the same ISIS that was created and funded by the United States? The same ISIS that often works with the Mossad? The same ISIS that disappears all the fucking time until the United States and Israel needs a distraction. Isn't that very convenient? And you have a genocide going on right now of Muslim people. You have the Muslim world uniting against the genocidal state in Israel They're not doing enough. Many of them not doing enough. You had this deal that was just brokered between Russia and China. We got Zoya's love, Zoya's life. Let's go. You have a deal that was just brokered with Russia and China and Yemen, where Yemen, and they never attacked Russia and Chinese ships, but they made it official where they're going to allow safe passage for all Russian and Chinese ships in the Red Sea, in exchange for diplomatic support. So Russia and China just made this deal, signing and showing diplomatic support to the state of Yemen, and then you guys attack them now? Right, literally a few days after that deal was made. Get the fuck out of here. Zoya's love, Zoya's life. What I have to ask you your thoughts, because you guys know I don't trust any of fucking official narratives. I don't trust it. I look at people's motives, the same way they teach people in law. But Zoya, what's your initial thoughts? Do you have any corrections? Did I say anything wrong?
No, you typically don't. Hi, fam. ISIS tried to stop me from joining, but I did. I mean, why would we trust the media? The media was the one that. The media is the one that told us about weapons of mass destruction. The media pretends Biden doesn't have cognitive decline and tells us the economy is doing great. We can't trust anything the media says. And the way the White House came out immediately, before any investigation, before anyone looked into it, was just, we know it's not Ukraine.
with no evidence, too. With absolutely no, how will you know it's not Ukraine immediately? When Zelensky and Ukraine said they reserved the right to launch attacks into Russia, which they have done. And let me dig up this receipt. I'm going a little out of order, but it's a point. You had the White House, you had the Biden administration that essentially had to beg. Here it is. I got it. Found it. They had to beg Ukraine to stop targeting Russian energy infrastructure. Look at this. So once again, I'm not listening to what the media said. I can critically think and use the information provided to me. And I'm looking at motives. And I'm looking at people who have a pattern of this behavior. This is how it works in law. U.S. has urged Ukraine to halt strikes on Russian energy infrastructure. So who has a history of launching terrorist attacks in Russia? Who has a history of supporting terrorist attacks like the attack on the eco-terrorism on the Nord Stream pipeline? But sorry, Zoe, I went on another rant. You have anything you want to say?
Oh, yeah, we're going to rant back and forth.
Yeah, this is going to be a one-topic stream. I covered Candace Owens for 5 minutes. Now we got to get to the main event.
That's all she gets.
Any receipts you want me to pull up, just send in the private chat if you can, or I can pull them up on Twitter.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have to get to those. But on this headline, it just immediately makes me think of how U.S. is urging Israel to, let in humanitarian aid or not target civilians. And meanwhile, we know U.S. is finding loopholes to send military assistance to Israel. So the U.S. publicly does this, we're urging this party to calm down, but privately they're actually supplying the equipment to make this possible. So this is such a, manipulative headline to start with. And they're already blaming Russia also. If you look on Maine, they're saying Russia did it, just like Nord Stream.
You had MSNBC, and with that said, I'm gonna cue this up, and I want you to continue if you have anything you want to say, because I tweeted about this, and I want to show you guys. I wasn't making this up, because I was like, guys, you have MSNBC, and just for the sake of time, I'm gonna just show you just one short clip, because after this attack happened, you had like 3 segments, and you can check for yourself. They all on the YouTube channel. They all was saying, yeah, man, there's no doubt in my mind that Putin would do something like this in order to escalate conflict with Russia. Putin has a history of false flags attacks. I'm like, whenever we give documented examples of false flags, like, oh my God, you're a crazy conspiracy theorist. Whenever you bring up the West doing stuff like this, they immediately dismiss you. But whenever this happened in Russia, they immediately start bringing up the conspiracy theories, which are unhinged, saying that Putin would launch an attack that killed over 100 of his people right after he won an election? Right as there a genocide going on, that him and China and Russia, as they should, they were politically exploiting it to attack the United States. So why would you launch a terrorist attack in your own territory? In this timing, it makes no sense. But I'm gonna show you this clip, and Zoya, feel free to chime in when you want to.
Ukrainians, and I also see a lot of friends and people I follow on social media in Russian talking about how this might be, in fact, a provocation by the Russian security services. Ambassador McFaul mentioned that.
Ambassador McFaul, you know, the craziest motherfucker in the world on this issue. You hear that, Zoya?
That guy was warmongering from the beginning of the conflict, and he's a war hawk. He thinks that Russia is a gas station. I forgot what McCain said about it. Gas station posing as a country. That's what it was. So
yeah, I have done a few propaganda segments on McFaul. If you guys don't remember, I did a propaganda segment on him right when Navalny died. He was the guy who was friend with the Navalny family, and I did it. And I'm sure if you're a regular viewer, you probably know who he is. But he's the guy that was like me, like I'm not. We need to tell the truth. No, we need to say plainly, Putin killed Navalny. Putin killed Navalny. He went fucking insane. So if you guys don't remember, he's the guy we did a propaganda report on that. But go ahead, continue, Zoe, if you have anything else you want to add.
No, but I have a good receipt we can play after this that will debunk her.
Can you put it in the private chat just so it help me with the order? Can you do that?
Perfect.
All right, cool. So I'll play just a little bit more of this. We don't have to play a lot of it. I just want to show you guys the twisted angle. We don't have to examine it for too long. Just the general twisted angle MSNBC is going with this attack in Moscow originally. Then I'm gonna show you guys how John Kirby in the White House. We go to that receipt now. We go to your receipt afterwards, Zoya, where John Kirby in the White House changed their story because I showed you guys how the United States sent this warning that this terrorist attack was going to happen. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Let me play this clip and I get to that next.
And I also see a lot of friends and people I follow on social media in Russian talking about how this might be, in fact, a provocation by the Russian security services. Ambassador McFaul mentioned that the 1999 terrorist attacks on residential buildings in Moscow, where hundreds of people were killed in their sleep when these residential buildings exploded in the middle of the night, that was how Putin came to power. And it has been a long-standing theory that Putin and the FSB were actually behind those attacks.
Why they have this crazy, unhinged psychopath on air? This is an Alex Jones level psychopath. And I say that just keeping it simple because Alex Jones is clearly more sane than this person. But the liberal thinks Alex Jones is crazy, but the person we are hearing speak is as crazy as the worst caricature that you may have of Alex Jones. That's why I truly believe that Russia would choose to attack and kill their own people the same way that they said that Russia would destroy their own pipeline. You guys see this cartoonish picture they are painting of Russia where they're just these barbarians who don't know the strategy, they don't know how to think, they only can lash out in violence. It's actually a kind of projection in a way. Zoya, actually I'll play this first just so I don't go too out of order, and now I'm going to your receipt. This is what you mentioned and what we mentioned earlier. That's why I want to play it before you get too far out of memory. And this is for our friends at Hotspot. You guys know Hotspot putting out banger after banger after banger. They not only help me edit my videos, by the way. They got a fantastic YouTube channel, Twitter account. Great media company. They help me make a lot of these great clips. They post a lot of great clips, edit a lot of great. Hopefully we don't get demonetized for that. But you guys see, they do a lot of great news coverage. Hotspot is fantastic. I'm honored that they partner with us at RBN. Now look at this tweet here. Just 2 weeks ago, John Kirby says, put out a notice to all Americans in Moscow to avoid any large gatherings, concerts, shopping malls. That's what they said 2 weeks ago. And then when asked about this terrorist attack, they pretend they didn't know what happened. I played the
also seen, hopefully you saw our State Department or embassy there put out a notice to all Americans in Moscow to avoid any large gathering, concerts, obviously shopping malls, anything like that. Just for their own safety, they should stay put where they are and stay plugged into the State Department for any additional updates and information.
They even predicted, Zoya, that it would be a concert. They said there was a concert that sold 6,000 tickets.
Not just a concert. They said concert gathering with more than 40 people. It's like extremely precise.
Thank you.
And now this is them pretending that they didn't say that.
Thank you. So question, did the U.S. have prior knowledge of this attack in Moscow, given that the U.S. Embassy had issued warning beforehand?
I'm not aware of any advance.
Oh, shit, let's go. We got Rome in the house. Let's go. What's popping, my brother?
What's going on? I was going to talk about this later on, but I'm like, shit, he already on it. So, shit, I don't want to do the same show over.
Bro, we entering a golden era of RBN. We got Rome's Rebellion that's back, bro.
Oh yeah.
Rome, and we got Romans, and we got Zoya's Love, Zoya's Life, Rome in the house. Man, this is about to be a powerful ass Saturday show. So this is the point I was just making. I was showing how the White House is full of shit regarding how they predict this terrorist attack and how they're saying, oh, we didn't know this happened. So just in general, just to introduce you to the topic of Rome and introduce you to the stream, what's your general thought about what the fuck just happened?
My general thought is, honestly, man, to all you Americans, I just want to say this: is don't be so shocked. Don't be so shocked when you see our people going through the same things. When you see Washington D.C. get bombed, or a place like Michigan, California, Texas, it's coming. It's coming, and there is no way we can hide from this. There's no lies that they can tell us to make us believe that they don't benefit from Russia having civil wars, mass bombings, and mass shootings. This is the West benefits, not Putin, not Russia. He already won his election. He don't need to go out and kill anybody to go get any motherfucking to get anything. Like, yeah. So yeah, my initial thoughts is we did that shit. We did the Nord Stream pipeline, and we did this shit too.
We did everything. There's a reason why they did this survey, one of the largest global surveys ever, asking about who the biggest threat to world peace is. You want to know who won by a landslide? Not Russia, not China, not the DPRK, the United States. Everyone was like, bro, you guys see this country over here? You guys see all these countries they destabilizing? I read the super chat and we continue. And I'm gonna go to Zoya's mini segment here, and I'll pass to you, Zoya, just so you introduce it and we play the video. I think for $2, Nick, what is your take on Tyler Perry? You guys know, like, the general thesis of RBN is black capitalists bad. That's how it goes. Every accusation leveled at Tyler Perry, I believe every single fucking one of them.
Oh, yeah.
So let's keep it short. That's my general take of them. Let's move on. This is what you put up here, Zoya. Do you have any anything you want to say before this story? This is the tweet from Patrick. I think I was on his radio show not too long ago. We're discussing last night's horrific terrorist attack live in Moscow. So you want me to just play the video? Anything you want to say, Zoya, first?
Yeah, just a little background on Patrick. He was just in Moscow as a foreign election observer. And he met up with Tara Reid and Syrian Girl. And
how did they show this guy?
Maybe you did. He's great. He's constantly in Spaces. He's the good part of Spaces.
Bro, every space I did. Ron, wasn't you in the space? I think I saw you in there.
Yeah. I had stepped down
bro. I wanted to fight so bad, bro. But
he was like, no, we're not doing that here. Oh, no. I'm like, oh, these motherfuckers.
So he's a journalist, and he's been getting all the facts right.
Yeah, he's good, man.
Yeah, partially because he goes and experiences these things in person. So he just debunks the whole narrative. I mean, pretty much he's going to walk us through the segment that we need to be having, and then we can just add some receipts to support what Patrick is breaking down. But he's going to debunk the ISIS narrative and basically tell us why we can safely conclude who it was. Surprise!
Yeah, So it remind me to invite him on. 'Cause I remember on the show, I said I was gonna put him on RB, and I had him on a few weeks ago. And also remind me to ask you about the Russian election, because I already seen a lot of liberal corporate media bullshit about. They're like, we're not even gonna call it an election. Of course, it was rigged. Said a country with the worst elections in the world. Anyway, I know this guy. He's a fantastic journalist, so it's cool to see him on the ground in Moscow doing great things as well. Anyway, let's watch this video, and then I'm sure I haven't seen it, but I'm sure I'll have a lot to say to it. Feel free to chime in as well, Rome, if you want to say anything.
Listen, joining us here, Patrick. So good to get you on the program. So glad, and apparently you're right there in Moscow as well, with a skyline behind you. Great to get you on. Hey, look, Patrick, just quickly, Putin already confirming the FSB findings that a Ukrainian link is there with this terrorist attack. Washington says nonsense. It has to be ISIS or ISIL. Your thoughts on the conflicting statements, Patrick?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be very skeptical and cautious about attributing blame, particularly to ISIS, as it's all too convenient. That's coming straight from, I think, the initial reports from Reuters, and one has to also ask the question, how do they sort of confirm that this is in fact an ISIS attack? So what it does is it clouds this sort of field with speculation and confusion. And there is a lot of real data points with extremists in Ukraine. A lot of different fighters have cycled through there in the last couple of years. So there's plenty of evidence to suggest that there are people exactly like this who have either been fighting Ukraine or involved in some way, shape, or form with the various militant factions and soldiers of fortune, mercenaries, whatever you want to call them, all these people who've been fighting in that conflict. So I don't think it's a big leap of speculation to attach this to Ukraine at this point.
Well, meantime, Patrick, Ukraine's intelligence agency is saying the terrorist attack was orchestrated by the Russian government to justify an escalation in the conflict. I'm having flashbacks to Russia bombing its own Nord Stream pipelines, Patrick.
I mean, just on that basis alone, there's sort of a reflexive response that we can expect, particularly after floating out that conspiracy that Russia blew up the Nord Stream pipeline. And any such attacks, and previously ones that have hit Moscow, they've also accused Russia of creating their own false flag attacks at previous drone attacks and whatnot. Other terrorist attacks have been hit Moscow inside Russian territory. It's important to note, Rory, that there's a trend. There have been multiple attacks or asymmetric attacks inside Russian territory, this being the latest. So I think it makes sense to attach it in some way to all of the previous attacks.
Patrick, what do you make of the comments that came out from Lithuania's Minister of Foreign Affairs, put out a tweet in the wake of this tragedy? He didn't tweet my condolences to the victims. He didn't tweet any type of message like that. Instead, Lithuania's foreign minister tweeted, quote, "Let's not lose focus." Patrick, give me something here, mate. What the hell is he talking about?
I think he's not reading the room correctly. Right now, with a tragedy of this scale, you're talking now over 100 victims, 130 odd victims, many injured, many critically injured in care right now who could die. So the natural reaction from the civilized world should be to stand in solidarity with the Russian people in light of what is a particularly gruesome tragedy, as have other countries have sought the same solidarity when there's been attacks on their soil. Why is it different in the case of Russia? This really cuts really deep into the psyche of where some of these NATO member states are. They're so ensconced in this proxy war against Russia via Ukraine that it seems to have clouded their better judgment in an incident like this.
Patrick, any thoughts on the timing of this terror attack? Any thoughts on the timing of this attack? It's less than a week after Russia's presidential election, Putin winning by a landslide. It was a record voter turnout. Meantime, Ukraine's been losing the conflict ever since last summer's failed counteroffensive. So your thoughts on the timing of this, Patrick?
It's a very good question, Rory. And myself, having studied previous terror operations in Europe, Operation Gladio certainly comes to mind as a strategy of tension. This was through the 60s, 70s, 80s. And normally this would be to disrupt or to keep the militarization high during the Cold War period in Europe for various means, for U.S. interests, in fact, to put nuclear-tipped cruise missiles, for instance, on European soil, and some of these other tactics. Now, look at what's happened the last couple of weeks, Rory. You've had serious noises from European leaders saying we need to come to the negotiation table with Ukraine. And lo and behold, this happens. The expected reaction here is this will be seen as an escalation, and that will move people away from the negotiation table. So in terms of a strategy of tension, that's where I'm looking at it in that wider context. That's how I'm viewing this.
Patrick, let me ask you if I can. Let me just jump in here quickly. You're in Moscow, and if I'm not mistaken, over your right shoulder behind you, not only are you very near Kievskaya Metro, but the skyscrapers behind your right shoulder, that's Moscow City. And those towers have been targeted any number of months, recent past months, with Ukrainian drones that have attacked those skyscrapers behind you. Do you think this is what Russia should now expect for the oncoming future now that Ukraine really has lost in this proxy war between America, NATO, and Russia? Do you think now Russia can just expect more attacks like what we've seen in the past 24 hours or what we saw against the skyscrapers behind your shoulder?
Well, having spoken to a number of residents, there's been a heightened security response in the recent months, more so than ever. So, I mean, the city is already, very well surveilled, and security is at a heightened state as usual. But I think you can expect more of the same. The problem, Roy, is there's potentially a giant slush fund with all of the money that's pouring into the Ukrainian conflict and then internationally to some of these groups, these nefarious groups. So there's plenty of resources out there to stage attacks like this for various reasons, and that's something to be really concerned about. So from Russia's point of view, unfortunately, this means I think that they're going to be ramping up surveillance and ramping up vigilance for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add, Zoya? And Rome, I see you on mute, so I'll pass it to Rome and then Zoya.
I just want to say, I think Russia will be attacked more. We're going to see more attacks on Russia. That is a no-brainer. They want to escalate this war. They want to push it from just Ukraine. They want Europe in here. We have already got warnings from European leaders saying that they will have boots on the ground. This isn't anything new. And if you guys have been watching the war, we should have seen this coming. I'm pretty sure Putin has seen this coming. I'm pretty sure he will act accordingly. Now, with that being said, a couple of us are going to die because of this. Like, you can't just go unanswered for these crimes, and ISIS can say it's them all that they want, but we know who the hell is behind ISIS, who funds ISIS, who gives ISIS the power and the weaponry. So even if it was ISIS, it's still America. It's still America. It's still NATO, and NATO will love to continue this war because it's their money machine. It's their money machine, and they don't have many other Ukrainians to pick from. Like, as we can see, over 400,000 of them have been killed. They are pushing out children. They are pushing out women. They are pushing out people who have been in the military, in the army, and is retired. They are just pushing bodies out there, and now they need new bodies, which will probably be you or your kids.
And I'll pass it right to you, Zoya, but you know how in the United States corporate media, they don't talk about how the CIA created ISIS.
Yeah.
Do you think they avoid that topic in Russian state media? You want to know what every single fucking Russian know? You want to know what every single person in Iran know? This guy, if you're in this Western media bubble, and people keep asking like, what's your sources on the DPRK stuff when I'll be debunking live? What are your sources on China stuff? Shit outside the United fucking States. It's not hard. Just follow independent journalists outside the United States, and you will realize that the people in the United States live in a completely different world than everyone else. Everyone in the world knows this shit right here that will get you called a conspiracy theorist in the United States. So when everyone in Russia and Moscow hears that ISIS attacked them, they're like, oh, here we go again. Some more Western bullshit.
Yep.
Zoya.
It's like buying some new shoes. It's like buying some brand new shoes, $1,000 shoes, and just shooting myself in the fucking foot. That's what it looks like as Russia attacks their own people right after an election that Putin had won. That's what it looks like, blaming them for the Nord Stream pipeline. Why would I shoot myself in the foot when I just bought these new kicks? it don't make any sense. And I'm not about to sit here and try to make sense of it, because it's going to make me more of an idiot, sound more like an idiot when I try to put pieces together that don't even fucking fit in the puzzle at all.
So anything you want to add?
Well, Western education indoctrinates, not educates.
Yes.
I mean, the fact that anyone even thinks Europe is a continent. Europe's not a continent. it's a part of Asia. They just drew a little line and said, no, we're different than you. This is Europe. We're fancy. And everyone just recites it. We have 7 continents like it's a fact. If your own eyes aren't lying to you when you look at the map, count them. 6.
I never thought about that before. That's funny. I
actually learned that from a Black professor. He was the first one that kind of.
I never had that thought before, but that's funny, and I don't see a hole in that logic at all. That's funny.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh my God, snap! That's true. Why do we just accept these things? You know, we're taught these things in school. We just memorize them, right? 7 continents, Europe, Asia. We turn off critical thinking.
And I spoke about this earlier before. Like you explained the difference between the education of the Soviet Union, where you grew up, and correct me if I'm wrong if I get anything that's wrong. But Zoe, do you mind doing that spill again? That was a while ago, just shortly before we continue. Like the difference in education, because that's why RBN is the anti PMC channel. I am openly antagonistic and hostile to the professional managerial class, because I learned in my time as a citizen journalist over 3 years, their degrees are not worth the paper you wipe your ass with. Their degrees, their doctorates, their masters, they just master and repeat CIA propaganda. They learn Western chauvinism. So I look at them with disdain, and at RBN, I am advocating, I am pushing for an intellectual working class where we come together and not only just live streams like this, but have meetings together. Like I'm planning a Kansas City RBN chapter meeting. JB did the same thing. They had theory reading. We need to come together as a working class and become intellectual. Reject anti-intellectualism. You should constantly be talking about what you're learning next. What propaganda are you trying to see through next? I have a friend, like for example, me and Didi, we talking about. I'm learning about Nigeria next. Nigeria right now, but I learn about what's going on in Sudan. I was just reading about the Vietnam War. That's what we need to do. That's what the ruling class don't want us to do. We need to go beyond the PMCs. Why do you think they're intimidated of me? They don't platform me because I know I will cut through their logic like a knife through butter, because I study. And I'm not, if you don't have time to do that because you're a parent and you're a worker, that's why you subscribe to the educators channels. That's what our role is. The people who have time to study this, you learn from them. You guys come together. We got to smoke the PMCs that sold out the working class. And that's what I'm looking. That's why, like in general, anyone with, and if you're good, obviously you're good on merits, but that's those. If you're a doctor, you're a master, got masters, that shit means fucking nothing to RBN now at all. In fact, I think you start at a handicap. You got shit to prove to me at that point. Saul Rod is a PMC, but I just had her on Thursday. She acknowledged she's a PMC, but she matches my tone. She does her research. She's not repeating bullshit, and that's what we should do it on, based on merit. And these PMCs for a long time, sorry going on a random rant, sorry for that. But for a long time, these PMC leftists, they'll spread bullshit. They spread anti-communist bullshit, CIA talking point bullshit, and they use their title and their degree as a shield and as a way to give their bullshit legitimacy. So when Dr. Cornel West says that Alexei Navalny is courageous, you can't question him because he has a doctorate. These are things that were probably obvious for a lot of people for a long time, but in my time as a citizen journalist and being gaslighted by these motherfuckers to my face, I've come to the realization that a lot of these people are charlatans, and that's why we are anti-PMC. Sorry for the random rant. Feel free to chime in with anything you guys want to say. So I asked you a question like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. So to your point, PMCs would tell you there are 7 continents, and you're absolutely right. They're just there to reinforce Western chauvinism. That's what they're learning. even former doctors like Mr. West. But but in the Soviet Union, as well as in Cuba and other socialist projects, they had a massive emphasis on education. They actually want you not to be infantilized and to use your mind. That's why they have so many engineers. That's why Soviets reached space first, because they want people to develop their minds. So they had a 99% literacy rate. And today we have 21% of functionally illiterate adults in the United States, for a contrast. By the end of first grade in Soviet Union, we were doing algebra. I literally still have the book that I can show you. Yeah, we were already getting into basics of addition and subtraction with variables and solving for the variable. And that's what I've said many times on your show, is that it makes me so sad that Americans will never know their potential, because the education system here isn't trying to bring out your potential. It's actually trying to stupefy you. The methods of education are very irrational. The way that they explain things, and I'm a teacher in America, so I'm speaking with authority, it just doesn't make sense, and it's designed to make you fail. It's designed to make you feel like you're not getting it. Because imagine if everyone in America had a good education and had a college degree. What would they do with them? Who's going to work at McDonald's? What are the most abundant jobs available in America? You drive around this country, which I've done. You see Walmart, you see Home Depot, you see Subway, you see the same big chains, and they don't need you to be college educated to work in those. So by design, deliberately, they don't need educated consumers and workers. They want you distracted. They want you on Netflix ordering Uber Eats and to never question these kind of headlines. Meanwhile, in international news, they actually teach you history. So when you hear bullshit, it's obvious bullshit. They know when ISIS formed. There were news clips even on American TV talking about how the Israeli agency addresses itself as ISIS. That's how they sign their letters. There's clips from the 70s showing this. So there is evidence for all of this, because obviously, if you only look at international sources, Americans are going to tell you, "Oh, you're foreign interference, you're Russian propaganda." You can confirm most of these things if you do your own research, even from Western sources. It's all an open secret. People just don't have the time to look it up.
And this is real random, but this conversation reminds me of the conversation I was having with one of my boys in the care party about China and their education. And I don't know if you guys remember when we was real small and people used to have those conversations. Oh, people in China got to go to school 7 days a week, and blah, blah. I understand now, because when you look back at the opioid crisis that was going on, they was losing lives. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to force your proletarian. Sometimes you have to force your proletarian to be better. Now look where they are at. They're millennials. Just the millennials, not the boomers, not Gen Z. They're millennials own their houses. They have businesses. They are in a way better predicament than us. And this is, you know what I'm saying? This is from the education that they was given that was stripped away from us, taken and never even given the side of light to Americans. But yeah, this is why you guys are dumb, because we look at education as slavery. We look at education as something that you have to do and not something that you need, you know, and they make it a chore. That's why people
and we're not even talking about institutional education. We talking about gaining wisdom, learning history, facts, critical thinking. Why when people talk about the literacy rate, why don't people talk about media literacy? Because if we add media literacy to that, you know how many Americans would be fucking illiterate? People watch these news channels and they believe what they hear. Even people who think they're critical of the news, how many people repeat bullshit about China and North Korea? They're like, "Oh man, I seen through the COVID narrative. I'm a critical thinker. I don't believe Dr. Fauci," but they believe every negative thing said about Cuba. They believe every negative thing said about Venezuela. They don't even question the narratives that you hear questioned on RBN. For example, like Didi said earlier, you never hear people in the PMC class question the narrative on North Korea. Like I have openly done. I provided receipts. I had people fact check me, and I had people reach out to me after my North Korea statements. Like, "Damn, Nick, I didn't know that, bro." They're like, "Bro, they fact checked me. Like, I'm gonna prove this nigga wrong." And that was my favorite statement to do now, just because of the feedback I got from them. But you know that no doctors are doing those segments. You know that no one in the professional managerial class is comfortable enough touching the North Korea issue. There's a line they won't cross. This is what I'm talking about. This is my grand vision for the United States left, which is considered a joke to the rest of the world. How about we transform the United States left, doing our part, everyone doing our part. My job is the educator, and I want to see the United States left, the working class left, blow past the PNCs, because looking past, and even stuff I have done, when I look at the United States left, we are dumb. There's a reason why the working class is fucked in this country. There's a reason why there's cop cities being built everywhere. There's a reason why there's a genocide going on right now, because you guys lesser to evil yourself into a goddamn genocide.
Man.
And this is this is the language people, and this is the tone that people don't like. But at what point do we acknowledge that the old left has failed us? That's why it's so absurd to me that people like Dr. Cornel West assume they are better than us. They want us to kneel to them. I don't kneel to you guys. You guys have failed us. Black boomers have failed us. Oh my God, you trash your seniors? I give respect to the seniors who deserve it.
I don't give respect to nobody. Hold on. First of all, bro, fuck your wants and needs, bro. Fuck your wants and needs. You want respect, you earn that shit, nigga. None of these motherfuckers have earned respect from me. Yeah, I have yet to see them on the ground. I have yet to see them doing any of the shit that we're doing, that I'm doing, him, she, her, whatever the fuck you may be, your pronouns, or maybe you may not have them. You haven't earned respect. So why should I just give you that because of your name, because of your status? That makes no fucking sense. I even told my uncle this. I don't respect my elders. I don't respect y'all niggas. Y'all haven't done a damn thing. Why I respect the nigga that's weak when it's time to stand up? Why should I respect the nigga who should have been out there marching and burning shit down, but all y'all did was go and vote? I don't respect no shit like that.
Since we getting real, you had the civil rights movement that was built over hundreds of years, over 100 years. People pretend, civil rights movement started in the 60s and they won. No, the civil rights movement was built over 100 fucking years. So then the black boomers came in after the end of the civil rights movement, like, we're done. They're not even finished. We're done. They joined the capitalist class. They support the crime bill, and they want us to respect them. Get the fuck out of here.
That's just like the white hippies.
Rome, how many white liberals say the same fact to you to your face when it comes to Joe Biden Democrats? Hey, do you know that black people actually supported the crime bill? You mean the Black Congressional Caucus? You mean the black boomers who sold out the black activists? Yes. You had black activists that was marching against the crime bill. And you had the black boomers who sold us out the same way they're selling us out right now while they building Cop City. You had black boomers voting for Eric Adams. They fucking got militaries and subways and shit now. They got Cop City in Atlanta. So this is what I'm asking for. I know I might be hurting people's feelings, but get over it. I'm asking for us to be better. Because you guys
I was just watching this black woman talk trash about Dr. Martin Luther King while he was alive, called him a preacher, called him all kind of names. This is when he was alive. Now, we have to remember that black liberation wasn't popular at all. You know, when we speak about liberation and, the Black Panthers weren't popular, Martin Luther King wasn't popular, Malcolm X wasn't popular, and they still aren't. Because if they were, do you think black people would be in a better position? I think so. If Martin Luther King and Malcolm X were as popular as these people claim they are, come on now, we would have been in a way better place.
They had to kill him for a reason. It's just simple as that. But anyway, my first Substack article was about this. I am very vocal about this. My father failed me. I am very critical because you had the generation that rode the wave. Once again, it took 100 years of organizing to pull out the civil rights movement. They rode the wave of that. MLK, Malcolm X, and our heroes died. They ingrained themselves in the capitalist class, become police officers, support people like Jim Clyburn, and they're like, Nick, why are you so mean to us? Nigga, when you know what you have done, you know how much you set our people back after years of liberation and struggle. I'm sorry, but this is something that must be said. It must be said, and that's why we're in the position that we're in right now. When you see black income inequality, white black income inequality right now is worse than the height of the civil rights era, the 1960. The racial income inequality is worse. So what am I supposed to do? Pat you on the head? Like, thank you, sir.
You tried. Thank you.
for surviving the police state. Get the fuck out of here. Anyway, let's
You
get back on.
survived the police state. You became the police state, and that goes not only for the black revolutionaries, that goes for you white motherfucking hippies too. Look at all these white hippies that they used to fight against the Vietnam War, but now all the motherfuckers in cubicles. Now all the motherfuckers telling a nigga like me that I should calm down. I shouldn't say this. I shouldn't say that. No, from the white to the black, all y'all niggas failed us. And I mean, I don't mean all y'all, of course, but the majority. Too many of you. It wasn't enough of you to stand up to make your voices heard so we can make a difference. And what happened? What happened? You set your people back. Not only your people, your communities and communities from here to fucking Afghanistan. Like, where was those same white hippies that protested Vietnam? Where was they at during Iraq, Afghanistan, Iran, Yemen? Nowhere. Nowhere to be fucking found.
Once again, the good news though, I end this little mini segment completely unplanned. Cause you guys, I'm here at Rome, so I'm like, fuck this outline. You know what I mean? But I end on the positive though, because I when you look at the polling, you know who leading the charge on socialism? You have the right who paint this picture that socialism is pink-haired white college kids. But when you look at the polling, the highest percentage of people who have anti-capitalist views are young Black Americans. So after seeing our older generation sell us out to the capitalist class in the police state, we are now healing. Once again, I wrote a Substack about it, and I can write a book about it, and I am not ruling it out, my friends. Maybe in like 10 years or so, writing about how the generation, the Black boomer generation, set us back so much, so fucking much. Anyway, Rome, I'll give you last thoughts. On that.
Man,
before we get back on topic.
All I want to know, all I want to say is this, you guys. It's gonna be some dark days ahead of us. Like, you guys, we have it good because we are in the middle of the empire. Yes, true, but all empires come to an end, and this is the sign of a collapsing empire. The 800 military bases, the bombing anywhere you want, going against any fucking country you want. And remember, we have to remember, we are not the big dog on the yard anymore. We are not the big dog. No matter how you feel, no matter how protected you feel, no matter what the fuck you say, it is not the truth. We are a paper tiger. America, NATO, you guys haven't really won a war. Let's say, oh, we don't go for wars. No. You guys haven't won a war on paper. You guys haven't won a war on paper. You get your ass kicked.
They lose.
My niggas in sandals. You got $1 million fucking tank, $10 million tank, and you get your ass killed by a nigga in sandals with an RPG. But look, I'm gonna tell you this. China just warned us. If anything happens to Russia, we're gonna jump in.
Yeah.
Do you guys do honestly? In your hearts, I know. Look past all that patriotic bullshit. Oh, I'm proud to be an American bullshit. Do you honestly think that we can take on China with 1 billion people? Let's say if they just did the Soviet Union shit and said everybody is in the fucking military. Now, go ahead. We overran.
Oh, you know how many soldiers about to quit? And I did a hotspot about this, Rome. I'll pass it to you because I just want to make this point quick. I did a hotspot. You know how many, they have a record amount of European soldiers quitting because they're worried about war with Russia. You realize that the United States military is made up of young people who just want to pay their student loans, who don't want to go on student loan debt. That's what I should say. They want to go to college for free. That's why they're in the military. They don't have any sort of patriotic pride. They don't have any overall threat to their nation the same way it would be an existential threat the way NATO is encroaching on Russia, the same way China will be fighting against a state that got bases surrounding them. You have a country that got
shit, bro. They ask the kid. The kids are in uniform overseas on duty, getting asked, why did you join the military? Why did you join the army? I got lied to. I don't know. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what I'm doing here. These children, like, even if they went over there, they're still smarter than what we believe, and they do not want to die for some bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Have you guys seen pictures of United States soldiers? Like, I know I'm not the badass I used to be in my early 20s. But have you seen just a look of a United States squadron? No. Like, they literally just Imagine a college campus. That's what it looked like. Just people want to go to college. We don't produce warriors anymore. Why don't think we don't win wars? We don't have to produce warriors. We produce psychopaths and war criminals, but not warriors. We are going to lose. And if we actually have a war with China and Russia, you know how many people are going to quit because they're in a military just so they don't get in debt going to college. They're in there just for college. You guys see the flaw in building a society this way. This is why you never have efficient military when you force people to join the military in order to go to school. Meanwhile, in Russia and China, they can go to school for free. Nigga, they fight for the country. Who's going to be more motivated? Go ahead, Zoe. I know you want to chime in.
Yeah, I mean, the average age of an empire is 250 years, and we're at 248. And NATO's supposed to be a defensive alliance, but they actually bombed Yugoslavia, which was illegal. Yeah. That wasn't a defensive measure at all. I'm just trying to cover everything Rome mentioned.
Take your time. I'm gonna keep this around 90 minutes. I'm gonna go 30 minutes over, but we keep it around 90 minutes. So for free, take your time, Zoya.
Yeah, it's really quick. I also dropped you a link in the chat because another reason that Americans maybe don't understand, because this history has literally been buried, is there's a reason you ended up with Malcolm X. This is a list of thriving, successful Black communities that were completely independent, that had their own economies, they weren't bothering anybody. And, basically Ku Klux Klan and what predated the Ku Klux Klan came into these towns, murdered everybody over some false accusations. And then these towns were covered over with lakes. So this history doesn't exist. If you drive around America, you won't see any remnants of this.
Yeah, exactly. And Zoya, just quickly, I'll let you continue. This is something that people don't talk about. I mean, you know how there were this critical race theory, culture war meltdown. Like, you guys complain about critical race theory. They don't even teach the real fucking history. They like, yo, we into slavery and into the civil rights era. You guys completely whitewashed that era of white domestic terrorism against African Americans that killed untold thousands and thousands. I say untold because the death count we don't even really know. Between lynchings that was coordinated with policing. Why don't you guys learn this? You got Ron DeSantis and white kids complaining about critical race theory. You guys don't even learn what the fuck happened. And after you guys got rid of slavery, you think white people are like, they are, we good now. Hey, okay.
They love us.
Okay, now. No, we went through an era of white domestic terrorism, the likes we never seen before. And I don't got I'm definitely understood. I know some people probably mad. I'm definitely understood in death because it's insane amount of lynchings and the way they killed us was brutal. Anyway, sorry, Zoe, I'll pass it back to you. I said I would be brief. Zoe, anything else you want to add to this?
Even Central Park used to be Seneca Village, and a community of freed Black slaves, and it was actually integrated. There were other, Irish people and other people, but it was mainly a Black community. That's what Central Park is. Central Park was just created over this history so that nobody knows it exists. But you know who learns about this history? People who grew up in the Soviet Union.
Yes. Yes. This is
you have to know your enemy.
And look at this. And I had a viral tweet. It was one of my most liked tweets ever. Where I said, "White women tears are responsible for countless deaths of Black men." And this is just another example. I'm reading through this now, filling in gaps in my knowledge. And I'm looking here. This is a story of two quote unquote rapists that was convicted and they obviously was executed. And this is how they executed their mass terror campaign on Black men. They lied on their names. They had white women that would falsely accuse them. And just like you said earlier in your intro, Zoya, they had all these false accusations they used in order to justify these slaughters. And I covered this in my abolition article back when I used to write Substacks. I need to get back to that one day. Back when I used to write, remember that? I talked about how, and this is something else forgotten in history, how you guys think they got away with lynching? You think you can get away with lynching without databases? The way they was able to be pinpoint, precise, go after targets, assassinate people that they wanted to assassinate, and get away with it. You think you can do that independently? Think for a second. You need a man on the inside, aka the police. You have police sheriffs on the highest level that was working with the Klan and working with them in order to help accomplish lynchings. You got and people complain about critical race theory. You guys don't know a fucking 1,000th of it.
I remember I made a tweet about the fire department. I was like, yeah, fuck the fire department too. Everybody's like, what? Oh my God, what the fuck? It's like, y'all act like y'all haven't seen these pictures of them spraying our people with these fucking fire hoses out there with the police, helping these police, helping the dogs bite our people up. Not only that, but there are countless of neighborhoods that went down in flames because a black fucking person stayed there. That is American history. That is firefighter history. That is American history. And I say fuck the police just like I say fuck the fire department. All them motherfuckers. We need to, all that shit need to be reformed and co-opted for the people, because the truth of these organizations will have you like, what the fuck? And yes, the fire department is still racist to this motherfucking day. They're still racist in these fire departments. I know people always say, well, they come out and they put out fires and blah, blah. Well, go ahead and go ask that one firefighter that's in their fucking department. Go ask them how he's treated. It's countless of stories. Look it up. Look up any of it. Say black firefighter. Look it up. I bet you some racist shit pop up. I bet you.
I bet you. Let's get back on topic. These are great mini segments. I wasn't planning, but you guys know what we can do. We can do Off the Cuff. Another banger with you guys Saturday. We got another about 20 minutes or so. So I'm gonna get back on topic regarding the Russian terrorist attack. And obviously, I was about to say theory, but not theory. It's a fucking fact. And this is why they really hate Donald Trump, because Donald Trump fucking admits it. And this is one of the attack lines. They're like, no, stop saying that. Stop saying that.
ISIS is honoring President Obama. He is the founder of ISIS. He's the founder of ISIS. Okay? He's the founder. He founded ISIS. And I would say the co-founder would be crooked Hillary Clinton.
No, you're not supposed to attack him like that. You're supposed to use culture war shit. No, because if you say Obama created ISIS, that implies the United States government funded ISIS. You're not supposed to say that, Trump. You guys see why they hate this motherfucker?
But even the most conservative motherfucker know this. Like, come on, you gotta be under a rock that's under a boulder to not know that we made ISIS. Like, what? Why else is it that these people come out, attack our enemies, and they ain't got shit to do with it? They over in a whole other motherfucking country, ain't got shit to do with this war, and got no beef with these people. Oh, but they taking claims for our hits. Come on now, I ain't that stupid, man. Even if it was you guys, because I see there's ISIS on the ground in Ukraine. Even if it was you guys, it's still America. So miss me with that bullshit. I feel like, honestly, not Americans, because I know you people, oh, you're wishing death on Americans. Some of you, not all of you. Some of you. I'm wishing death on some of you, not all of you, okay? So, you know, some of you have to actually feel the pain that the world has been put through. Some of you have to feel the bombs that you had dropped on these people here. Sometimes you have to see your house get blown the fuck up in order to understand what the fuck is actually going on in this world. Because you guys sit here on your motherfucking phones. We sit here on this fucking podcast. We roam around. We drive around. All good. While Palestinians is fucking dodging bombs. While Yemen is trying to stop this motherfucking escalation. All these people are in the real world while you stuck in your fucking phone. And I'm telling you, it's going to take for your mother head to get blown the fuck off. It's going to take for you to see your baby limbs chopped the fuck off from a goddamn bomb for you to get serious. And I'm not playing with you guys. When this shit come, and it's going to come. It's going to come. You got not. I swear, all you patriot motherfuckers, I'm proud of my country. Bitch, arm up. Get ready to go die. Go do all that shit that y'all was talking online when we told you that the empire was falling. You said you was going to do whatever it takes to keep it going. But go fight Russia. Go fight China. Go fight the DPRK. Y'all motherfuckers can't even go back and forth with the army of DPRK, let alone China. So when it comes here, when it's knocking at your door, when those bombs are over your motherfucking schools, over your hospitals, over your mosques, keep that same energy, because you guys are going to need it. You're going to need it. I swear to God, you're going to need it. I'm an atheist. I don't believe in God. But you're going to need something. You're gonna need something. I'm telling you, ain't no fucking running from this shit. Ain't nowhere else you can go. Americans are looked down upon. There's no country that's going to accept you, but other countries who's going to get bombed by Russia, China, DPRK, Yemen, and whoever else want to fucking jump in and get a couple kicks in. You can't run. You can't run, so don't even fucking try. Here we go. ISIS on the ground in Ukraine. Okay. Now, like I said, have that same motherfucking energy, motherfuckers, because it will come, and karma always come. That bitch might be late. That bitch might be late. She might be late. Fashionably, she might be late putting up on her fucking makeup to make it look good, but that bitch always shows up. And when she get to knocking on your motherfucking door, ain't no running. It's here. So keep that same energy, and I will see y'all in hell.
we got Rome Rebellion. We got Zoya's life. Let's go. So, anything you want to say real quick, Zoya? Actually, I introduced this first, and then I'll pass it to you. Because just so we can move on just a little bit, like everyone in Russia is like, bro, there's definitely Ukraine involved. There are a lot of receipts we can show you with a lot of shady shit regarding Ukraine. Either a lot of shady shit showing how Israel wanted to punish Russia. I'm literally like weighing my head which receipts we're gonna get to today, Zoya. We may have to do a follow-up show on Tuesday or Thursday. But look at this. I've seen this a long time ago. I had to dig this up. The Cradle reported on this. You had this video of Ukrainian soldiers that was caught wearing ISIS patches.
Uh-oh.
Why would they do that, my friends? You think they did that once? You think like, oh, I accidentally put my ISIS patch on this one time? Is that what you guys think happened? Or is this a tactic they use usually? And when we look at these people and they're Slavic. People are like, bro, these Slavic-looking people. And once again, we're still early. People still investigating. But these terrorists are Slavic-looking people. Ukraine has been caught in the past using ISIS patches. And let's not even talk about Israel. Once again, there's so much to talk about in a short amount of time because Israel already threatened Russia. I'm going to show you guys that video later, but I'm going to play this one real quick. And Zoe, I will pass it to you after the video play, so don't worry. I'll pass it to you after the video. And so you can chime in with anything.
The best way I can describe Israel is it's ISIS with nuclear bombs and coffee shops in Tel Aviv. He's completely secular and is not an observant Jew at all. He has surrounded himself for years and years and years with the most fanatical elements of Israeli society. Best two examples, the most prominent are Itamar Ben-Gvir, the national security minister, who is a follower of Rabbi Meir Kahane, who's essentially like the Zionist version of an ISIS ideologue. Itamar Ben-Gvir was a member of what Israel and the United States considered a terrorist group. This Kahanist group was called a terrorist group, and now he's actually running the police. He's the one who has banned these anti-war demonstrations. And then you have Bezalel Smotrich, the finance minister, who in 2017 published his genocidal plan, literally in Hebrew called the subjugation plan. And this plan called for full ethnic cleansing. Basically, the three options he listed out in the subjugation plan were anyone who submits to the state of Israel and abides by what are called the Noahide laws, which are a series of 7 laws for non-Jews that mean no idol worship, so no Christianity, no Islam, no other religion, and basically you live as a slave. The other option is you leave, you're ethnically cleansed, you expel, or the third option is you are killed, you're executed. So these are the 3 options that Bezalel Smotrich wrote in his public plan called the subjugation plan in 2017.
This is the government that both parties support. I want to play 2 videos back to back just for the sake of time, and then we will discuss. On the Israel connection, here's another one. Once again, Hotspot, my friends, RVN partners, Hotspot, killing the game. There's another thing they tweeted out that I saw, how Israel was warning Russia that they're going after them. Now, watch this video. I saw this video yesterday. My jaw hit the floor. Like, listen to this video, bro.
That I understand you're on the Russian.
This is Amir Whiteman of the Likud party. So this is someone from Israel, just so you know the context behind this. This video is something else.
That I understand you're on the Russian payroll. I understand this is a Russian propaganda, but you have to be very careful because let me tell you, we're going to finish this war. We're going to win because we're stronger. After this, Russia will pay the price. Believe me, Russia will pay the price. Russia is supporting the enemies of Israel. Russia is supporting Nazi people who want genocide on us, and just Russia will pay the price. Russia also. Now listen to me very carefully. We are going to finish with these Nazis. We're going to win this war. It's going to take the time it's going to take, but we're going to win this war. Afterwards, we're not forgetting what you are doing. We're not forgetting. We will come. We will make sure that Ukraine wins. We will make sure that you pay the price for what you have done. You as Russia. And you and as all the enemies of Israel.
Now, I see I know a few of you guys, and I'm not correcting you guys. I see a few of you guys saying he's unhinged. I'm not correcting you guys at all. I'm just saying this is the average Likud party member. Yes, unhinged on the rational scale, but the average Likud party member. Just remember that. And remember, this is the government that we get behind, that a government that is willing to wage war against the entire world. And people wonder why I'm rooting for Hamas. Then why are you rooting for Hamas? Everyone should be rooting for any force that want to defeat these crazy motherfuckers. Anyway, let's continue.
And you, as all the people who are now making everything they can to support genocide of the Jews in Israel, we are not forgetting. We are not forgetting. Remember exactly what I'm saying now. You will pay.
Hold on, bro. I just can't, bro. I just can't take this shit serious because just like we was talking about earlier, they are psychopaths. They're not thinking clearly, right? They just want to kill, and this is what's going to get them wiped the fuck off of this map because they thinking we can just go in and treat Russia like how we did Palestine. Hamas don't have an army or a military, don't have a motherfucking air force, don't have no navy, nothing in the waters. Like they are powerless if we're looking on a scale of world leaders and governments. They are powerless. You go into Russia with that attitude, and you're going to end up the same way Ukraine ended up. 400,000 dead. It is bad enough that you cowards are leaving Israel. The cowards are leaving Israel. They don't want to stay and fight. We see the airports packed every day for international flights getting the fuck on. And you think people are going to stay and fight Russia? And I hope you do. I hope you do because I wish death on you too. And when your death come, and it will come, we will celebrate, and the world will celebrate because the world will be able to fucking grow and move on from this shit, move on from these psychopaths ruining her. So go ahead, fight Russia. I hope they do. I hope they do. And when they find out that they don't have the army and the men and the power that they think they do, it's going to be too late. They're already going to be on the ground. I just saw a man from South Africa, a white dude in South Africa talking about, we're shitting our pants. The front line is falling apart.
I want to get Zoe in here for this. But just so you guys know, another reason why Israel is mad with Russia, because obviously Russia put a lot of pressure on Israel and the UN. But not only that, this is why I showed you. This is why I was talking about earlier. You have Russia and China that is making a groundbreaking deal with the Houthis. Well, I should say Ansar Allah. You guys know political, can't call them by their real name. So I should say the Ansar Allah in Yemen, where Yemen, who never attacked Russia and China trip before, but they are now making it official. So they're allowing Russia and China's trip to pass and an act that is defiant to Israel. And now Russia and China is going to support them diplomatically now, give them public support, legitimizing Yemen's, once again, legal resistance to genocide. Now you guys see why that guy went on that unhinged rant. Now you see why Israel want to launch attacks into Russia. And not only that they're attacking them in the UN, even though Russia and Israel has been historically friendly, but you now have Russia that is applying maximum pressure on Israel towards your genocide. And I would say the government officials may not necessarily be doing it for moral reasons. They're using it as a way to attack the United States and their legitimacy, as they should. Now, I'm gonna put Zoya receipt up here. I appreciate you being patient. I've been trying super speed through this because I actually have some plans with my family, so that's why I can't really stay super long today. I already stayed a little bit. Already went a little bit longer.
But really quick, Nick. Russia and China also just voted down America's ceasefire proposal in the UN because it wasn't a real ceasefire proposal. It was it said to free the hostages and put a priority on ceasefire in the future. So Russia and China are like we say on every stream, just a massive thorn on in America's side. So this is much bigger than Ukraine. It always has been. But here's the origins of ISIS, who are now being blamed for the terrorist attack in Russia.
You want to play the first video? Oh yeah, I'll play the first video. I saw this video. I saw this video going around. I haven't seen it yet though, so let's watch it.
Subversion, trying to foil plots against the state of Israel, political plots, and others.
You tell the story about how you tried to find out what they call the Mossad when they deal with publicly?
I thought it was a reasonable question, but the trouble is you can't pick up the phone book. There's no Langley in Israel that you can look up, CIA, or in our case, the Mossad. We thought we should ask, what shall we call it in English? You can translate the Hebrew words. As I said, Mossad is institute. But when they write a letter to their friends in the CIA or the British intelligence, what do they call themselves? It took a while. It was a matter of asking the prime minister's spokesman. The best you could do, because officially the Mossad is under the prime minister's office. And I think he sort of wondered why you want to know and all that, so we explained. And he came up with the Israeli Secret Intelligence Service. And if it were to have initials, it would be ISIS. Just simple words like that. Interestingly enough, kind of a British model.
So let's go through the rest of the receipts. And isn't it funny how ISIS also serves as a political tool for the United States politicians as well? Remember how Trump gave a great speech about how ISIS was defeated? They always do that. Okay, they serve the United States interests, help them get elected. They can run on ISIS. Hey, Trump and MAGA, if ISIS was defeated, I have a question for your boy. I thought ISIS was defeated. Didn't Trump say he defeated ISIS? Yeah, so you're not seeing the applications of ISIS in many ways, even from domestic and electoral. That you have Republican politicians who come out and say, "Well, I was tough on terrorism. I defeated ISIS." Because you know how ISIS always conveniently go away. They go away. ISIS haven't done shit in a long time. They go away, and then the West needs them, and they're back. So when Donald Trump said he defeat ISIS, they go away to help them out. You guys see the game that's been played on American citizens? That the people with degrees, they go right forward. They study the system. They love the system. Someone with a master's and doctorate degree is probably watching this in horror. You have master's and doctorate degree that think we're crazy conspiracy theorists for saying all these facts and bringing all these receipts to the table, proving it. IDF chief finally acknowledged that Israel supplied weapons to Syrian rebels. Quick question: who are the Syrian rebels? This point, let me do a quick outline check. Anything you guys want to add? I want to make sure I get everything crucial in. Actually, no, I'm gonna do this real quick. Let me just real quick presentation. Actually, I did do this. I did this already. I'll share this last one. You guys see how the media is covering it as well. How Russia seeks to capitalize on United States strikes in Yemen, Red Sea tensions. Boy, they're having a hard time reporting on the fact that Putin and Xi Jinping is outmaneuvering them on the global scale every step of the way. Zoya, I'll pass to you. Anything else you want to add? I think
recently, Aaron Monte was vindicated for his coverage of Syria because CIA declassified documents stating that, in fact, they did have a plot to overthrow Assad for a really long time. It shouldn't surprise anyone that the CIA has orchestrated hundreds of coups and color revolutions all over the globe. And they admitted, my source is the CIA. It's not the Kremlin. You can look it up for yourselves. But, reflexively, Americans are so Russophobic that they're going to call you a Kremlin bot, a Putin puppet instantly when you say facts that come from American sources, that come from the government agencies that perpetrate these crimes themselves. So you see how they're manufacturing consent because the White House immediately issued a statement absolving Ukraine and then trying to blame ISIS. I mean, I'm having flashbacks right now, literally, to being on RBN and having this exact same discussion over Nord Stream pipeline.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Rome, anything you want to add? And I'm going to read some super chats. Zoe, any last receipts? We're gonna wrap up here. So, God, really do gotta go. Rome, anything you want to add before we wrap up? There was a very great stream. You guys know I'm gonna be following this. Nick at Night returns on Tuesday. Be back on Thursday as well. So there's gonna be a lot of follow up to this. We only scratched the surface, my friends. Rome, anything else you want to add?
Shit, man. All I want to add is y'all get ready. You build your militias, you build your organizations because the empire is falling. The people is going to need you. They're going to need mutual aid organizations. They're going to need people who got doctrines. They're going to need people who's nurses, doctors, and wherever the fuck it may be. Wherever you feel yourself fit, that's where you need to be, and you need to organize yesterday. Get all your eggs in a row, and don't count them before they hatch. But get organized because the empire is falling. Now, we may not even see the fruits of our labors, but holy fuck, there's gonna be it's gonna go down in the future. And I see somebody said something about, I want to address one comment about something about Jackson Hinkle. Who the fuck watched Jackson Hinkle? What the fuck? Do these guys do any work on their own? And yes, I wanted to show you. Stay here, J77 Bay, because I want to share my screen just real quick for all you fucking haters, you know what I'm saying? Because y'all don't think niggas do real work. Y'all think we just talking out here, ain't got no fucking militias, like we ain't got the care party, like we ain't got tour for the poor, like you're not on our news organization right now, like we're not actually out there on the ground every goddamn day with our people. But okay, so let me show you all this.
Shit. I'd rather address the super chats than the Fed.
Yeah. I just wanted to show the updates that I had on the library. That was all. I had put down the library floor. Well, a mess, but the floor is down almost. I just got to cut that. I was feeling lazy.
So once again, I say Feds because Feds don't know this. You know what I mean? Why should we give them benefit of the doubt? There's no reason why should we give these people benefit of the doubt. The people who are real, who follow our work, know that we do stuff. The people who don't know, we don't do. The people like, what are you doing? You're not doing any work. They're fucking Feds. They just trying to spread a narrative that haven't fucking worked. They've been trying to take RBN down with these lies and smears. That's why I don't even acknowledge them no more. Because after years of trying to smear RBN, after years of trying to take RBN, we're stronger than ever. So no need to really. I don't really spend a lot of time addressing it anymore because they lost in this war of trying to delegitimize RBN. They already lost. So anyway, let's go through some super chats. Thank for 499 plus the mouse. RBN, my daily dose of realness. Keep up the good work, my comrades. I appreciate that, my friend. And that's all. I had this on the screen earlier when I acknowledged push the mouse for another great super chat. We already know Rome was fire. As soon as I saw Rome come into the stream, I'm like, oh man, we got a doozy on the hand. I'm like, bro, this is about to be a 1 hour stream. Me and Zoe about to go through these receipts. Rome popped in, like, oh, here we go. Let's go.
I was gonna do it. I'm still gonna do a show later, but I just didn't want to touch on this topic twice. So yeah. I will be on this show later on today. We're gonna have some updates about the grants, about everything that's going on here, about Florida, California. We got a lot of things that's going on. Tour for the Poor is growing like way faster than what the fuck I thought it would. The care party is growing. The gun club down in Jacksonville, Florida. My cousin is in charge of that. He's the COO of that. That is growing every day. We are getting new members. We're gonna have great updates for you guys later on today if I can make it back in time. And I'm gonna have some more updates about the library. Things are going great, man. Things are going too good. You know, saying for RBN right now, but I'm not gonna.
Yeah, we're entering a golden era. It makes me work harder. You know what I mean? Yeah. It makes me work harder knowing what we accomplished. Like, all right, we're not stopping now. We only getting started. I'm only getting started building RBN Kansas. I got all these thoughts, all these ideas in my head. I got all these emails. Like Zoe been helping me out. Zoe be like, "Hey Nick, you got another email." I've been putting this email list together, my friends, and I'm gonna be able to have activists on call. Like these are things I'm working on. You know what I mean? It takes time. We're building a legitimate left organization at RBN. I couldn't be prouder. That's why when I see hater comments, I'm like, man, you guys are so mad because we're doing something and you guys thought we couldn't do. When we said we're going to have RBN chapters in multiple cities, you guys was like, you guys can't do that. And now here we are.
Because the PMC class have told them, oh, this the best that we can do. Well, we can just talk and vote, talk and vote. That's all you motherfuckers have been doing for the last 12-something years of your voting life. of your voting lifetime, you haven't been doing shit. You haven't been doing shit. And this is why niggas like me on the ground, I can talk to anybody because I'm there. So you can go ahead and have your little y'all group chats and talk shit about the communists and shit like that. But would you say that shit in front of my face? When I'm in your motherfucking town, do you come and see me? Do y'all come to my motherfucking giveaways and say that shit in front of my face? No, the fuck you don't, because you know who to play that shit with.
Yeah, well said. Zoya, do you want to introduce this last receipt you wanted to play? What are we watching here?
Yeah, we can just read exactly
with
what
this money.
It's a
Ukraine-
little small for me, Nick. If you could just
I can read it. I can read it for you. This is Didi Geopolitics. A month ago to the day, at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, y'all saw this too. Victoria F. the EU Newland promised they lay to Ukraine will allow to accelerate the asymmetrical warfare that have been the most effective, and that Putin is sure to face some nasty surprises. I don't know why it worded weird to me, but
it's aid. It's aid. They wrote laid probably, because we all don't get enough, but it's aid.
Yeah, I want to like laid. What? All right, so that's aid. Okay, that makes more sense. But anyway, the most important quote from get to this, because I've seen this before. The most important quote is when they said Putin is sure to face some nasty surprises. So let's hear from her, since I butchered it. Like, I don't know, it feel like it worded weird there. Let's hear what she said.
With this money, Ukraine will be able to fight back in the east, but it will also be able to accelerate the asymmetric warfare that has been most effective on the battlefield. And as I said in Kyiv 3 weeks ago, this supplemental funding will ensure Putin faces some nasty surprises on the battlefield.
Oh my God! It's more evil when she says it. It's way more sinister when she says it. I'm actually glad I played the video. So, you have any commentary on that before you wrap up?
So that was a month ago, and there's another speech she gave in Ukraine on this street. Giddy, smiling, saying, "Oh, Putin is in for some surprises." Like, millions of people don't live there. Like, it's just Putin by himself kicking it in Russia, and they're gonna seek vengeance on him. But that's how they want you to think about it. They don't want you to think about the fact that these are human beings. I mean, I've seen people on Twitter celebrating that this happened. They think they're taking down some great evil. Meanwhile, little kids were gunned down yesterday at a concert. It's spring is coming in. In Russia, it's really cold. Moscow, especially. So the concert was sold out. Over 6,000 people. Just families going about their day. Now, imagine if this was reported in a way where the Russian embassy warns all its citizens to get out of America, especially concert venues with over 40 people. And this is a week before the American elections. And 2 weeks later, there is a terrorist attack. How would you guys react? Look at how all of you reacted to 9/11. Oh my God, great tragedy. We got to go kill brown people in a country that had nothing to do with it. It was massive, right? Meanwhile, it's a joke to everybody that Russian innocent civilians got slaughtered yesterday. That's the point of cognitive dissonance we reached. And this timeline, I hate this timeline so much. It's having me agree with the worst possible people.
No, it's crazy.
Yeah, Andrew Tate had a good take on this, talking about how desensitized Americans are to Russian lives and how dehumanizing all of the reactions have been. And I'm like, oh my God, Andrew Tate is.
I just accepted. People didn't even realize that it's not 2015 no more. I accepted the political realignment. Like, I disagree with Andrew Tate on social issues. I am openly very socially liberal on social issues. But because of Ukraine, because of Israel-Palestine, they created a completely new political dynamic in this country. Because the rise of the CIA leftist liberal, things have changed. So we got to realize that, all right, bro, there's these people who got ideas that we don't agree with, but at least they support. That's how I view it now. I take it issue by issue. Like, issue by issue, I'm like, all right, he's good on this issue. He's good on this issue. Like, I don't even take it as a whole no more. Like, all right, let's form coalitions and let's get the right issues right. Because things are so confusing right now. Even using terms like left and right is not even that accurate no more. Like, what the fuck? What does that even mean in America? Like, everyone's a rabid ringer for the most part. Yeah. So, like, we got to take it issue by issue. But sorry, Zoe, I cut you off. Go ahead. You can continue your thought.
No, and I just want to humanize Russians for a minute. You know, these are just people. We attach labels and think that somehow it's okay to kill people. It's okay for them to experience terrorist attacks. But no, Russians are human beings. They didn't want any of this. The West has been at war with Russia for centuries, even though Russia assisted America in its civil war, in its revolution. That's all quickly forgotten because dollar is king, and all the same evil people are involved in all the conflicts around the globe. Everything is connected. What's happening in Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, what's happening in Syria, what's happening in Israel, what's happening in Ukraine. They're starting to send NGOs to Kazakhstan. Armenia has been welcoming French troops. So this is ongoing. And the CIA is plotting more problems on Russia's borders. And Russia knows that. And ironically, the day before this terrorist attack, a Russian government official, Peskov, came out and said, we are no longer in a special military operation. We are at war with the West based on the evidence. And that's what I want to leave off on is just to always follow the evidence. Don't go for any headlines. Don't go for other people's takes. Don't think of the world as so black and white and bad guy, good guy. Learn history. Look things up for yourself. Look up declassified documents. Look up the regions where the wars are happening and how they were before the CIA interfered.
But yeah. they have been programming us since before we was even born. I just remembered. I don't know if you guys remember this movie called Toy Soldiers, when like the action figures came alive and they had like a civil war amongst each other. The motherfucker, the bad guy, always had a Russian accent. Yeah. All of our movies, bad guys have Russian.
I haven't seen what you're talking about, but I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. So they have been programming us since children. They knew that they was going to go to war with Russia. They knew that they wanted to throw a coup on Russia, and this is why Bill Clinton helped Putin get into power, because they thought Putin was a bitch. And thought he was just going to give up his country, just give up all that power he had, let them throw all types of coups, let them steal all types of resources. But then when he took the power that power that Bill Clinton gave him and the CIA gave him, he turned his back on the ass, like, do something. And this is where we are here right now, because Putin is in office because of the U.S.
Sorry to cut in, but after the Soviet Union collapsed, what I noticed was the bad guys in the movies had a drastic shift to Middle Eastern characters, like blue eyes and everything. That just goes to show you they're telling you who to hate.
I'm a comic book fan. I'm a big comic book nerd. I have read a ton of Marvel in my life, and you see the shift too. Like reading Marvel is like almost like reading through the history of U.S. propaganda. Like you literally would see a ton of, just to your point, a ton of anti-Russian people in the 90s. And then during the war on terror, all of a sudden, a ton of Middle Eastern. There was a comic where the Punisher would find a ton of terrorists, for example. I'm like, man, I like the Punisher, but this is some propaganda bullshit right here. And then now recently, it's back to Russians now. Like, because I read a lot of recent comics. They back to Russians now. Like in the 2019, 2020 comics, there was a storyline where the Avengers fought the Russian version of the Avengers. Now, because the Russian version of the Avengers is now losing their mind. I'm like, fuck, you guys are propaganda. But sorry, go ahead. Continue your point, Zoya.
No, I mean, no lie. I was a little kid, so I was relieved. I was like, oh, good. They're not going after us. We get a break. Because people in America used to say the wildest shit to me, like, why do you want to nuke us? I'm like, I'm just trying to have lunch, man.
I want to you because
you guys know they changed. Because once I read, like, they changed Iron Man's entire character. They revamped his entire character origin, because the origin they used in the movie, it came from a 2004 comic, I believe. The 2004 comic came out, and then the movie came out in 2008, 2009. Don't quote me exactly on dates, somewhere around that time. So they revamped his story and turned it to he was captured by terrorists. Like he was this guy traveling in the Middle East. He was captured by terrorists. Like they completely changed the storyline. So thank you for that example. That's a great one there.
It's always a cycle. You will never be out of the conversation. It's just a matter of time when it's time to talk about you again, right? Because when the Muslims was the target, black people stopped being the target. But when black people stopped being Muslims stopped being the target, now we back at the Russians. Now we're not targeting the Russians, we're targeting the Chinese. Okay, well the black people want fucking critical race theory and all that. It's always a cycle. They will always circle back to you. Don't think that you're safe because you're getting let out the conversation. They will always come back to you and find a way to oppress you and your thoughts.
I don't know about this, but I really hope this is not true. This is so fucking disgusting. The original Red Dawn was a fight. I'm not familiar with Red Dawn, but the original Red Dawn, it was a fight against Russia. The remake of Red Dawn was updated to North Koreans. I really hope that's not true, but I believe it. That sounds something they would do. But go ahead, Zoya. I'll give Zoya last thought. And Roman, you can do a quick plug at the end. I really do gotta go though. But Zoya, I'll give you last thought. Last word, Zoya.
I was just gonna add that it's more insidious than that. Because Winter Soldier used to be a documentary about Vietnam veterans that came home and confessed all of their crimes, including rape, including murder, including throwing POWs out of helicopters for sport. It was an explosive black and white documentary. Of these veterans crying and admitting the things that they have done. And now when you look up Winter Soldier, it's a Marvel movie. What about Black Panthers? What search results are you going to get? Marvel movies.
Yeah.
Oh, these motherfuckers.
And then the last Black Panther movie had black people fighting against some fucking water Mexicans.
Don't get me started on Wakanda Forever. Don't get me fucking started.
Oh God, man, that shit! I can't believe I waste my money to go see that.
Bro,
shit.
I had Black Twitter fears, but these niggas come pretty wrong because you had. I gotta go. Don't get me fucking started. You had two people who victims of Western colonial aggression, but then the two people who are victims of Western colonial aggression, they start fighting. The two indigenous cultures start fighting for no reason. It was so absurd, but. I may have to do a breakdown. I was so fucking I enjoy like the art of it, like the fucking fight seems good, but the message is disgusting. Why instead of the indigenous tribes coming together and fighting the colonizing Americans and Europeans, they have them fight each other. Look, it's the classic trope. It's like the Chicago situation. Look at the black and brown people fighting each other. It was like, oh, come on, man.
With all this technology, everybody's so smart, everybody's so strong, and you can't get over. Like, come on, man.
I really do gotta go. I can't give an intelligent breakdown of that in the short amount of time.
Yeah, I gotta go too.
Thank you for joining me last second. Thank you, Zoya. Sorry I got to end the stream. I already went way longer than I planned, so I gotta go. So thank you guys for watching. I'll be back on Tuesday. Have a good weekend.